What's up, people? Back at you again this morning with another Moralities Moment video. This is the last video in my series on Give Your Best. Just to recap before I go into this morning's note. This week I've touched on the fact in giving your best that growth is stunted among people who do not work hard and give their best. Your growth is stunted when you give a half effort because you don't ever push yourself to the fullest potential that's possible. You know, the old adage or what they say nowadays, go hard or go home. You know, in anything that you're trying to bring to pass in your life or you want to see a manifestation in that area, take that ideology and go hard or go home. Or in other words, either you're going to do it or you're not. If you're going to attempt to do it, then give it all you got, you know, because a half effort probably won't wind up doing anything but causing you to be upset at the end because it's going to be coulda, shoulda, woulda. But how can you get upset if you didn't give it all that you had? So go hard or go home. Second point I brought out in this vid series was give all you have to things that are just and good. Anything that you feel worthy of your time and your effort, give it all that you got. You know, it's no sense in attempting something that you consider just and good and give it a half effort. You know, if you're not going to give it a full effort or give it all you got, why even bother? Then yesterday I talked about the 4 P's: pressure, persist, persevere, and pray. Know that whenever you're trying to be the best that you can be, is going to be pressure, whether it be self-inflicted pressure or pressure from surrounding circumstances, situations, or people. Because here's the one thing that we have to remember. You know, when you tell people what you're trying to do in your life, you know, you put pressure on yourself because one, you know, people know what you said, you know, and then you might get that feeling like I've said this, I put that out there, so now I got to do it, or else people are going to say this, you know, or people are going to say that. You know, so sometimes we put self-inflicted pressure on ourselves by telling people our business. You know, it's okay to tell people what you're trying to do, but here's a bit of wisdom. Be careful who you share your dreams with, because it's a lot of dream killers out there. You know, and a lot of people, they'll pretend and they'll laugh and skin and grin in your face, but behind your back, they waiting for you to fall flat on your face so they can say, I told you so, or look what happened. You know, so be careful who you share your dreams with. Persist no matter what. When you're giving your best, things may not go the way you expect them to go all the time, but you have to be persistent. You know, I said yesterday, give persistent, consistent action in everything that you're endeavoring to do in your life that is just and good. You know, if it's something that you really want to do, one, do it hard, two, do it afraid, and then give it all you got. Persevere. You know, you're going to have to persevere because you're going to run into some obstacles. You're going to run into some adversity, especially when you're trying to better yourself. So persevere, and then finally pray. You know, a lot of times, as I said in previous videos, we endeavor to do things, you know, but we never take it to God in prayer. And then when things don't go the way we want it to go, then we say, God, why you let this happen? Or God, why this, why that? Well, first off, God is looking at you, what you're talking about, because you never brought that to me anyway. So whenever you're thinking about doing anything, making a major decision or whatever, take it to God in prayer first. And see what God has to say. And you know, and let me explain what I mean when I say see what God has to say. The Bible has answers to every situation that we can think of that would come up in life. When I say take it to God and see what God has to say, find out what the Word of God has to say about your situation. If the Word of God has good and pleasant things to say about your situation or whatever you're trying to do, then you can have peace about it because it lines up with His Word. But word of caution, if it doesn't line up with the Word of God, then me personally, I would advise you to go another way. Turn around and go another way, because God is the author and finisher of our faith. And some of us, just being perfectly honest, some of us, we want God, but we want to hold on to our mess too, irregardless to what God has to say about our mess. You know, God can't author your mess. He can't finish your mess because it's not his will that any will perish. And a lot of times, a lot of the situations we find ourselves in, the negative situations, they're designed for our demise. So if it's his will that none should perish, God is not going to author no mess that's going to ultimately bring about your demise. So keep that in mind. So with that being said, this morning's note is: give your best and accept the best. Speak and act with dignity and expect that those who want to be around you do the same. Be honorable and develop friendships with those who are honorable too. First statement there: give your best and accept the best. When you're giving your best, don't accept anything less than the best, because now you're compromising yourself. When you put out the best and they can't give you the best in return, then guess what? Maybe you need to reconsider giving that individual, circumstance, situation your best, because ultimately we're in this endeavor to give your best. Hopefully you're trying to make some changes in your life. So if you put out the best, then you should only accept the best. If you on your job, when you put out the best, you're expecting a good reception of what you put out, which may not always be the case, but you're giving your best. And so don't accept anything less than your best. It says, speak and act with dignity and expect those who want to be around you to do the same. And giving your best, always hold on to your dignity, always hold on to your integrity, and expect those that hang around you to do the same. People always say, if you want to be a fool, hang around with fools. If you want to be known as a wise person, hang around wise people. So if you're giving your best, you want to be around other people that are giving their best, trying to go somewhere too. Somebody told me once upon a time, I've heard it said, that if you're the biggest fish in your tank, then it's time for you to consider changing tanks. Sometimes, and if you be perfectly honest with yourself, you're the biggest fish in your tank, and now it's time for you to move on to bigger and better things. Again, giving your best. Don't ever think that you're going to get somewhere or get the best out of life hanging around people in situations that ain't looking to do nothing or go nowhere. So again, when you put out your best, expect the best, not only from yourself, but those people who choose to be around you. And then the last statement says, be honorable and develop friendships with those who are honorable too. Again, going back to checking your circle. Sometimes we have to do inventory when we decide to give our best and see if situations, circumstances, and often people are the best fit for our situation and where we're trying to go. Don't feel bad if you have to walk away from some people and walk away from some things, because again, in previous videos, I made reference to the story of Jonah. They had to throw Jonah overboard, because they wanted the storm to pass. Sometimes you're going to have to let go of some Jonahs in order for your storms to pass and in order for you to get where you're trying to go. Remember, everybody is not designed or can go where you're trying to go. So that's just the reality of life. That's just like me living in Michigan and I'm getting ready to go on a trip to Hawaii. It wouldn't do me no good to pack boots, coat, and all of the clothes that I would wear for winter weather and take it to Hawaii and think that I'm going to be comfortable wearing those things in Hawaii. Yes, I can wear them to Hawaii, but I'm going to have a change of clothes once I get there, because I'm going to have to wear what's conducive to the environment. In saying that, I said that to say this, some stuff you just going to have to get rid of to prepare where you're going. Some stuff may be okay upon your arrival, but when you get where you're going, you're going to have to change things up. So just keep in mind, in giving your best, sometimes some hard, tough decisions are going to have to be made in order for you to be the best that God has called you to be. So with that being said, hope you enjoyed this morning's morality moment. Peace, and I'm out.